I've been told that there was this guy called Steve that did, oh, and there's one more thing. And so I've been told it was really interesting to do that thing for the one more thing. And you're going to tell me, well, okay, so this is very nice, but you're doing mostly Lurk. You have not been doing so much blockchain today. You have that nice project about blockchains. We'd like you to participate, actually. It would be really nice if we found a way to build that stuff communally. Don't get me wrong, we like VCs, but we like the ecosystem to move forward a little bit as well. But this connects back to Lurk. So you want the inner game of why we would do that eventually? Well, there's this one thing about distributed proving. We've been looking for distributed proving now for a while. Now, distributed is not proven networks, right? So there's another use case floating in the ecosystem, which is this proven network, which is really about matchmaking. Matchmaking is really considering I have 50 proofs from 50 users, and I have 50 provers, who gets what? It's a distribution and matchmaking problem. There's nothing wrong with that, it's just not the problem I'm talking about tonight. There's other people looking at distributed proving, which is I have one big proof, and I have 50 provers. Can I use the 50 provers to make the one big proof go faster? And that is a thing that cryptographers have worked on for a while. We have ways to break down proofs that are either ways to break down proofs at the proof boundary, or if you have mutually trusting provers, even within the proof. So you've heard about zero continuations. If we break that outside of the proof, you've heard about IVC, PCD, you've heard of folding, you've heard of recursion. There's many ways to approach this. All those approaches have been really focused about how to verify correctly that the proof was composed from the correct fragments and have a succinct way of doing that decomposition and figure out what are the constraints that are relevant. And this is great. This is great work, but it only concerns half of the problem. You need to actually figure out how to get the witness to the prover that is going to do a fragment of the proof. And if that witness is large, getting the witness to the prover is a lot of network bandwidth. Why is that witness large? The witness is potentially as large as the state that you've built up to the shard or the fragment that your new prover is going to start with. And the reason why is because you've built up a lot of witness and you don't know what that fragment of the proof is going to address within that witness. Now, because it is a fragment of the proof, it's only doing a part of the computation. Because it does a part of the computation, it's only going to address a little bit of what's going on. But you don't know which. So if you don't want your prover to just fail and crash in a miserable failure, you need to give him all the witness because, hey, he could tap into any part of the witness at any moment. And now you have a problem, which is, so we have those very fancy CPUs, and we even put GPUs on the provers. We forgot about putting fiber optic cables, and now the whole distributed prover network becomes very expensive. So the problem is a problem of encapsulation. How can you reduce the amount of state that you could possibly address in a fragment of the proof? There's no way to do this except if your proof did that in the first place, which amounts to distributed proving, or more exactly, proving distributed programs. Every single distributed program against pretty much every paradigm that you know about, from MapReduce to actors to freaking threaded and logs sent over a TCP network, has, by definition, has had to assume, because it is about distributed programming, that you don't have a shared memory between all the people that are doing the work. That's the difference. It has said, yeah, there's no shared memory here. And because it has no shared memory, that thing is actually easier to represent in distributed proving because you have very clear bulkheads in between the bits that are not shared in the memory. And so this is what we can build with Lurk. Because we're operating directly in the high-level language, we don't lose the concurrency primitives through the compilation. So when you have, let's say, an actor's model that is expressed in your source language, you are now able to isolate different parts of your program that are communicating through message passing, and the only part that they're getting from the other parts of the system are those messages. And those messages are small. So instead of wasting your time on network bandwidth and then not actually making use of the CPU, you now have a small network bandwidth and you're making use of the CPU. So that's why we're interested in this, because the system we're thinking about that has those shards that pass messages between them, it is also a system that models that kind of actor framework, where you have a message passing primitive for concurrency between processes. So instead of updating a proof by updating one big item of state, you can update a proof through updating many shards that eventually converge to one final state. So your blockchain can actually become a proof coordination network as a side effect of all the good community-oriented features that we're interested in. Remember, cheap, fast verification, streamable, universal, all of those things lead to that very nice side effects, which is now we can orchestrate proofs. So Proofcoin matches actor-based concurrency. It can be used to do coordination of proving at a high level. All right. This concludes my talk. Thank you very much.